everyone. I haven't been on for a while. I don't think I've really kind of been on this year outside of talking about COVID. So, I hope everyone is having a blessed new year so far. Um, I did want to get on and talk about something today. I'm going through a fast and prayer 21 days, and so I'm not really on Facebook, and I'm not sure when I'll be uploading this because I'm supposed to be removing myself from Facebook as part of my own fasting and the sacrifice that I want to give to God, because sometimes it can become distracting and we gotta give a lot more focus on the Lord than on the world. So if I'm missing anything, or if someone says something to me, please forgive me for not responding right now. But I am, needing to put my time and a lot of my time and my efforts into God right now, because I just need direction. I need clarity for my life, and so I'm trying my best to stay focused on God and remove as many distractions as I possibly can right now. Part of that is the news. Definitely is distracting. So, none of that's going to get me into heaven. So, it was time for me to refocus myself and to understand what God is trying to do in my life. What is He trying to tell me? I remove certain foods from my diet so that I can sit here and not be constantly thinking about food. As soon as you be like, well, let me pray, but let me eat first. Let me get some snacks first. Let me do, you're constantly doing something that is not about God. Okay? So it's not easy to do a fast. This is probably the longest I've ever done a fast. And I have to be honest, some of the fasts I've ever wanted to do that was long, somehow I forgot I was on a fast. And then I just moved on with life. So I'm really trying to stay focused, which is why I had to put a lot of things out so I can stay focused. In this time, and the reason why I'm coming on today is that I might have had a revelation. I may have had God speak to me, and I think that this is something I like to share because other people do think, may think a lot like me and have some of the same or similar issues that I have. So if anybody knows about my vlog, you know that my journey is to be married. But one of my things that I was thinking about, I shouldn't even start with that. First of all, I'm going to just say contentment is rarely seen in humans. Contentment is rarely seen in humans. Okay? We always are pursuing, happiness, the pursuit of happiness, right? Everybody's trying to find their peace, their happiness, what gives them joy on this earth, what makes them happy on this earth, right? And so we never have, and we wind up never having enough. Like we never pay attention to what we actually have. We appreciate what we have, but we don't realize that, we're never content with what we actually have, right? So, my prayer, some of the prayers I have to pray, that I've been praying for my family, for my children, those are things I do need to bring to God, because only He can do what I can't do, especially when your children are grown. You can't do but so much. You can only put them in God's hands, right? Other people, you can only put them in God's hands, because we can't control people, right? We can hardly control ourselves. So you definitely can't control people. That's why I always say there's a lot of things that I can do in my life. I can sit here with God's help, get me a job, get me a career, get my business going. I can get me a car, I can get me a house. Like, these are things that are actually accomplishable. But to control a person, that is not. That is so not accomplishable. So, those are things that I'm praying about and asking God for some direction, some clarity on how I can be in the process, right? And so I was also thinking, one of the things that we always think is that the grass is greener on the other side, right? We always looking like, oh my gosh, if my life was like this, if my life was like theirs, if my life was, we always look at, we either compare to someone else's life, or we just see what we want and we go for it. But again, it comes back to, are we content with what we have now? God can give you more if he knows that you appreciate what you actually have now. So as I said, I went on my 21-day fast, and one of my biggest, things was about my husband. And so I have been praying for a husband. Well, how should I say this? Yeah, I guess I've been praying for a husband, right? So I guess that is the point. Like, I've been praying for my husband. And again, one of the things I always say to God is that I appreciate what my life is like. I do. I truly appreciate everything, God. Please do not see that anything that you have done for me is gone unseen. I truly appreciate everything you have done for me and are doing for me. I appreciate the favor that you show to me, God. And I say that, and one of the things some of us as Christians say, you never do another thing, you've done enough. It's not how we feel as humans. It's not how we feel in human nature. Okay, the human being always wants more. There are maybe the rare that have been very content with what they have, but you'll see a lot of people who starting to become minimalists because they are trying to refocus and not think about things and stuff and what can they have, but start to be trying to live the basics of life and refocus on the joys that are in it. So I have been thinking about that. Excuse me. And what I was also thinking is that God gives us what we need. He definitely gives us what we need. If you look at the book of, you look at in Naomi and Ruth, okay? And you see that, Naomi sent Ruth to Boaz to basically, let him know she was available, right? And he took her on as a wife. And that's a great thing. But if you look at the situation, and I'm not going to get really much into the book itself of the Bible, but if you look at the situation, they had a need, especially women during those times. They had a need. They had a need to be cared for. They had a need to be taken care of. And so they go to here and they find out that, I'm sure that, Ruth was a really good looking woman and Boaz was able to notice her when she got herself all, nice looking, right? And she, did something for him. But again, there was a need, and God meets our needs. I look at my life and I say, how I am very content, but not using the word content with how it is. Let me just read this to you, okay, before I go there. I'm going to read Proverbs 27:20, and it says, Proverbs on 27:20, hell and destruction are never full, so the eyes of man are never satisfied. I also want to read Ecclesiastes. I want to start at chapter 5, verse 10 and 11. He who loves silver will never be satisfied with silver, nor he who loves abundance with increase. This also is vanity. When goods increase, they increase who eat them. So that profit have the owners except to see them with their eyes. Basically, what I got out of that, and I should also mention that I was looking at a movie on Pureflix, and the movie was called 40 Nights. And it was about Jesus going into the wilderness, and he was praying, and he was trying to ask God for directions, and he fasted literally from water and food for those 40 days and 40 nights. And obviously anybody would get delirious in human form. And the devil came and tried to tempt him to do what he didn't want. And I understand, because in fasting, I want to eat. And I want to eat certain things, not just the things I'm eating, like vegetables, right? Even though now my body is starting to want these vegetables. Like, I'm like now loving it. But in the beginning, it wasn't so easy. You want to do what you want to do. And, it's hard. So I was happy to see that, even though I chose to do a Daniel fast, only because I just want to do water, vegetables. And that was working for me. But obviously, I don't think we can live with 40 days and 40 nights of not eating. So I'm not doing Jesus fast. But yeah, I did that. And I was looking at him. I said, I want to see how he reacts in this movie. And I felt like they gave a good depiction of what Jesus would have been like as a man. And I do recommend anybody to watch this movie on PureFlix. Again, pureflix.com. If you don't have an account, you can get even a free trial. And it's all about just Christian movies, okay? All Christian movies are good feeling movies, but mostly Christian. And so obviously this is a Christian movie. And I was looking at how, I wasn't doing my fast wrong. First I kept thinking, I'm not doing this right. I'm not getting it to God. I'm getting mad. I'm getting angry, and I'm getting this way, and I'm getting like, are you listening? And, I'm getting it in all these other ways that I didn't even realize that when I looked at that movie, I'm like, okay, so they depict that Jesus may have been that way as well. And it would make sense. They also depict how Jesus, was hearing from the devil. And that makes high sense because, when you're trying to do something for God, the devil will try to intercede, and he will try to get into your spirit, and he will try to make you feel like, you're sounding stupid, you're talking stupid, you don't know what you're talking about, and then you start saying, but God, are you here? Are you here? I know you have to be real. I know you have to be real. And it's funny because not that Jesus was questioning whether God was real, but he was questioning. And so they make you feel like, Jesus was perfect. And I felt that this movie depicted him as a man and not perfect. And the fact that, he was suffering, and he wanted to feel the suffering because he needed to understand what we go through and why are we always, finding ourselves in sin. Why do we always continually keep going down the wrong paths? Why do we know but then don't do, And so he needed to feel the suffering. He needed to know what it was like to not eat. He needed to know what it was like to not have water, and know that there are going to be people in the earth that have these situations coming to them. He needed to know what it was like to be tempted by God. By Satan. He needed to know that. And I just felt like I got so much out of that, because you do go through that when you're trying to seek God's voice, So after I looked at that, I then got on a Zoom meeting one of the Zoom meetings. I had 2 Zoom meetings this week, and they were both with women, and they both was about, women and life, right? And how we see ourselves and see our in our situations, and how we're comparing. One of them was like a book we read, so we basically was breaking down that book and talking about it on our end, and how it impacted us. And me being a person who is a Christian, always sit here and pulling God, and the book also pulls in God, and how that woman sees God in her life. So we had a really good conversation. But one of the things that I had a conversation about is I said, ladies, do any of you feel that that at this age, we're all in our 40s, right? So I said, do anybody feel at this age that maybe, why is it that you're just learning things that it seems that the younger generation seems to know? Why do you feel that way? Do you feel like why is it just coming to you? Not that so much is just coming to you, but it's more enlightening than it ever been. Like you might have known this when you were younger, but now all of a sudden you know this. And then I felt that maybe, did I lack the understanding before? And I really appreciated the ladies from that first meeting, because they brought back to what was fed to me. I watch and I mentioned this in my other vlogs. I love Transformation Church. Like, I love Pastor Mike on Transformation Church, and the way I know that God speaks to him. Okay, and they talked about how your roots needs to be it needs to grow into the soil to be able to grab on, because eventually you're going to grow, but you need to have a foundation. And in order to have that foundation, your roots got to go through stuff. It's got to fight its way through stuff. And then that's what they said. They said, Miss Melissa, listen, this was like confirmation for me. That you went through, helped your roots to grow and get caught, get in there. Like, nothing's going to pull at them. This is going to be a strong foundation. Your roots, like, they use the word roots. I think that's the word I'm trying to get. Like, they use the word roots, like as if they watched that sermon with me, right? And I just was like, oh my God. Like, I felt like crying, but I didn't, because I am an emotional person. I will cry in a second, but I didn't. But I just told them, I was like, oh my God, I love you ladies. I'm thinking y'all so intelligent. And I was so happy, because they literally said what God was trying to tell me. And I heard it, but then I heard it. It's a difference. I heard it, but then I heard it. So that was the one thing. And then there was another time. So then I had another Zoom meeting with some other women, right? And we had a minister speak. She spoke to me. I mean, she wasn't trying to speak directly to me, okay? She was speaking to the women, right? But she spoke to me. Like, when you ask God for clarity, and I'm sorry because I'm so corny when I cry all the time, but when you ask God to bring things to you, He will. He will. So she started speaking things that I know is what I was feeling and how I'm praying, partly for my husband. Oh, I made that go down too far. Partly for my husband, right? But yeah, she started speaking basically everything that I was feeling, like as if she was, like as if the Lord said, say this to Melissa, because Melissa's been trying to hear. And then I found myself, I of course was like, oh God, you don't understand how you talking to me, and I spoke on it. And then some of the ladies also understood what I was saying. They were letting me know in their aspects how they felt about what I was speaking on and what the pastor or the minister was speaking on. And so it was really very enlightening, right? Very enlightening. So then the next day, which is this morning, and I should say today is what, the 3rd? Is today the 3rd? Today is the 3rd of February, right? This morning I got off of work. And as I'm going home, I like to pray. I normally love my car time, because I really like to take that for myself, get a lot of prayer in with God, because when I get in the house, I get really busy, and that's my time. So I take it. You know what? It's me and God's time, right? And I look around and I see all the beautiful snow on the trees, and I see all the beautiful snow. And let me go back, because one of the women in the Zoom meeting saw my situation, but on an opposite end. So when she saw my situation, but she saw it on the opposite end, she explained it to me on the opposite end. My situation was, I'm not married. Did God forget me? Why did God forget? I hope God doesn't, remembers me. And yes, sometimes I feel with low self-esteem. Am I not good enough? Am I not, what happened? Why me? I'm aging, God. Please don't forget me. And that was my, been my prayer. That's been my prayer, okay, for a while. And she saw it as a married woman, Lord, I've been having children since I was young. I've been married since I was young. When is it going to be my turn? I need my individuality. Now, two opposite ends, but crying the same tears to God, is crazy. It's true and it's crazy. But then it made me go back as contentment is rarely seen in humans. That's the point of I'm trying to make here. So as I drove home this morning and I saw the beauty of the snow and I saw everything around me just looking really content. I know I'm in my nice luxury car, right? I'm driving home. I'm warm. I feel good. I just made money on my job. I get to go to my home where I have heat. And as I was thanking God for all that, I thought about how my life has been favored. And all I can cry about is wanting to have a husband. And don't get me wrong. It's okay to want to have a husband. And I'm not going to knock that I would like to have a husband. I don't ever want it to come off as if I am not satisfied, as if God has not blessed me just the way everything is now. Like, I feel good as a single woman. Like, it's not even like I'm sitting here feeling, stressed or lonely. I'm not even lonely. Like, I am happy. Do you know, yesterday I came home. I was home with my grandson, and my daughter called and she says we're gonna go to this hill and slide down on the slide, what is it, toboggans or whatever, down the hill of the snow. And I used to do that when they were young. And so of course I'm like, oh, okay. So we had so much fun. My grandson would come back up. First he was scared, but then he got that. He was like, junk. He was doing it by himself. He kept coming back up, coming to me so I can pick him up so we can kiss, because he was happy. Like, my life is so blessed and so favored. Like, y'all cannot understand where me and my daughter was some years back, okay? And I was going to do this on a separate vlog, but I'm going to do a series of those times and how God helped me through that on this vlog, because why not, right? I got the vlog up. So I just was looking like, Lord, how blessed. One of the reasons why I never seen that hill anymore is because the things we had to go through when she became a teenager and how crazy things had got. And we were no longer doing children fun things. Now life was getting real for me and my daughter. And I'm like, wow, here it is. I stood up on that hill, and I'm sorry I'm holding you long, but I stood up on that hill and I said, I had never thought I'd see myself on the hill again. This is really nice. I made some man laugh. He probably thought, she all corny and old, but he didn't understand. He didn't understand. So when I sit here and I pray for a husband, I don't ever want it to come off as if I'm not happy with my life as it is. I have everything that I actually would love to have in my life. Like, I don't even have to come in and do my hair too much, because guess what? I ain't got nobody to show anything. So it's like I could just push my hair back. I think you have to be more dressed up and try to look more cute if you had a man. So I actually feel good that I can get to just love on my parents. How blessed am I? Because I have my parents, and my children are fine. And my grandson, even though they believe he's like a high functioning autistic kid, oh my God, he's just the best to me. I mean, he's autistically beautiful, right? Like, I love him so much. He brings me so much joy. And I wouldn't give any of my situations up, because I know my blessing. I know what God has done for me. He has showed me so much favor. So I never want to come off as if I'm not satisfied with the life that God has given me, with the favor he has shown upon my life. Yeah, so basically, I don't know. I just was just thinking about that this morning, and I started saying, Lord, with all the strength that I've ever placed in prayer, with all the strength of it that I've ever placed in prayer for a husband, this does not knock that I don't want a husband. So let me make that very clear. I'm not giving that desire up. I'm giving the strength of the prayer up. Because if God wants it for me, it's mine, right? I want all that strength of that prayer to go to someone who is in the cold, who do not have a job, who do not have a way to pay their heat bill. I know, I've been there. I know what it's like to be in a cold home, trying to make it happen. I had to send my children to my mom's, and I just stayed in my house, and it was like freezing. So I know. I mean, I didn't always have a luxury car, so I know what it's like to freeze coming home in your car. Like, okay, you like, well, at least you had a car, but guess what? It's not fun when it's like 0 below or more. And you try to get home and you're freezing, your hands are freezing. And so with all the strength of everything that I've prayed for a husband, I pray for those who don't have. I pray for someone whose child is out in the streets and they don't know where they are, because I've been there. With all the strength that I've ever prayed, and believe me, I prayed hard for a husband. I pray for others just for to have this peace of mind, this favor, to know that stuff is taken care of. Like, a husband is an added benefit. I'm not gonna, I don't have a true need for anything, He's an added benefit. He's going to be an addition of blessings to my life. It's not because I can't pay my bills and I need someone to help me, but it's a wonderful help me. Don't get me wrong. But God has been my true helper. He has been there for me. So I pray with all my strength that here it is. There's going to be people. There's people out here that can't find their children for whatever reason. So many people who've lost in 2020, and not just from the COVID. I mean, jobs and other reasons why people lost their lives. And all I can say is that I'm so thankful and grateful for how my life is now. I am so content. I will not give up anything for a husband that's going to be different from what I have now. See, a husband for me is going to be an added organic benefit. Like, it's not going to, that's why I don't go on dating sites. I don't go on dating sites because I don't want to force a situation. It has got to be from God. It has got to be organic. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be because it's what God wanted for me. And it's just like he wanted my children for me. Just like my parents are still here. Just like this house. My house is not a really nice house. Believe me, it's got a lot of little cracks and dents. And I appreciate it. I thank God for it. Okay? I really want things in my life, just like it's always been, to have came from God. Even my animals came from God. I promise you. Every animal I ever had, because I don't go out my way to get an animal. They come to me. And if they come to me and I can't get a home, they belong to me. Okay? And then I find the reasons why. Oh gosh, I remember my dog. I was so depressed, sitting down on the couch, and my dog came and she looked at me, and then she put her face on my thigh and just stared at me. It's like her soul knew that I was down, and she wanted me to know, I hope you're okay. Like, it was in her face. So when I say my animals come to me, they come to me with such beauty in them. And so I don't trade my life for anything. I don't ever want someone else's life. I don't ever compare my life to. I don't want someone else's husband. I don't want someone else's husband like. Okay, you know, when I say husband like, oh, a husband like theirs, because I've learned you don't know what their husband is really like. You know what I'm saying? I want an organic life. I want what God has for me. And if it's not a husband, I'm good with it. And if it is a husband, and whatever age it comes, and if I don't get to have another kid, that's fine too. I know you're like, would you stop with the kid already? But at the same time, I'm okay. I'm okay with how God leads in my life. Okay? So I don't know if that message is good for anyone else. I know it's a good message for me. I know it's a good enlightenment maybe. I don't know. I was enlightened. I was given clarity in that area. And so, you know, with all the strength, as I stated, of my prayers that I've ever put in a husband for the many years, I'm talking about since my young 20s, probably 18, probably 16, okay? For the many years that I've actually put in strength for this husband, I put it in for others who truly need a blessing, like who truly need just the needs of a blessing, the need to have a home and not be homeless, the need to have heat, the need to not have rodents running around your house and bugs. Like, that's a big deal. Like, how blessed am I? I'm not saying that a mouse don't come in this house once in a while, but I get them out. But the point is, I'm not saying like I'm like so. Like, sometimes it's a fly in the house. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about there are times where people where their kids can't sleep in the bed because literally a rat is in it. Like, I've seen and heard horror stories. I've seen, as a home health aide when I was younger, horror stories coming and taking care of people. Horror stories, and I'll never tell you, but the point is, horror stories. These are the people that need that fervent prayer that I give for a husband. If God wants that for me, He knows my desire. He knows my heart. But I don't want to put much more prayer in something that almost sounds selfish now, of all the things that God has done for me, and all the things He still does for me, and all the favor that is on my life. So basically, that's all I'm trying to say. That's really what I'm trying to say. Yeah, that's really what I'm trying to say. I just thank God. And you know, whatever He has for me, I ask Him to lead me. I ask for direction. I ask for clarity. We say that, you know, let your will be done, then let His will be done, right? And stop trying to bend His will to our will, because we don't even know what we're doing to ourselves when we do that, you know? Just think about all the times I've ever tried to bend God's will to my will, but when He allowed me to go through so many things, and how much more I appreciated the outcome. So, yeah, that's that. I love you. I'm not sure. I said this is February 3rd. I'm going to pray if I should upload this today, only because I'm not supposed to be on Facebook. That is one of the things I'm giving up. But then I'm thinking that it doesn't take nothing. It doesn't really put me on Facebook. Like, I'm not going to go around trying to. But I'm afraid I might. That's it. I'm afraid I might start. What's this real quick? Gotta get away from that. I gotta stay focused. I love you all. Stay encouraged. Know that you are blessed, and God loves you, and He is deepening your roots. Okay, so that your foundation. So when He does give you what He has for you, your foundation is strong. Okay, that's one of the things I've learned, and also just to know that excuse me. Just to know that be content. Learn to be content with your now. Learn to be content with the good things that's going on in your life now. Ain't nothing perfect, right? That's why I'm in prayer mode. I'm praying for my kids. There's things that I want to see that in their lives. There's things I want to see in my life. Nothing's perfect, right? But we do have to find some type of contentment. The devil knows that we are always a wanting people and never ever satisfied. Don't give him that. Don't give him that. I'm very satisfied. I'm very content with my life right now. I'm very content with my singleness. I really am. That's no lie. I don't want the stresses of trying to make anything happen. That's why I say it has to be organic. When the man comes in my life, it truly has to be organic, because I don't really want to force it. I gotta now talk to someone. I'm sorry, I'm not nice, but it's like I don't want things forced. I need things to be organic. That's why it's always good to be friends, and then all of a sudden your friend turns into your lover because of the fact that it was a more organic, or somebody you knew, and it's like, oh my gosh, didn't see that was ever going to go that way, and then that's organic to me. It's not organic for me to try to push past God's will. All right, I don't want to hold you long. It's 36 minutes. Y'all have a blessed one. Bye bye.